Good afternoon, everyone. This is Amy of AJC Magic TV. I know it's just a surprise type of thing. I know at 3 p.m. Usually Kenji Days goes live, so look for that. Um, I know she's trying to do a premiere here that'll be coming on. I'll use another device to watch it, so I do welcome anyone in. Just gonna be chatting about Disney, talk about myself, introduce myself. I'm not always a um, a trivia type of channel. I really like Disney, and we'll be talking about a lot of the different things about myself. So I do welcome anyone. Welcome to the stream. Say hello. Um, my name is Amy of AJC Magic TV. I'm from Western Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania does have a lot of different people who follow YouTube. Hello, just another Disney. Um, so there's a lot of people that are on the Philadelphia side, which is the eastern side, and there's the Pittsburgh, Lake Erie side, which is the western side of Pennsylvania, and then you have your State College, middle of the road, Somerset, and everything. Hello, Penguin Master. Thank you for joining. Welcome to the stream. I was just going to talk about myself, talk about why I like Disney, and just some various things. I don't want to be just known as a trivia channel. I mean, I know that is one aspect of myself, and I know everybody says do what you like to do. That is one aspect. I do love trivia. I love history. So a lot of my stuff, it's geared. I know that trivia helps different people. I do thank everyone for joining. I hope that you guys would hit the thumbs up button. That would be much appreciated. And I know it's a surprise stream. Thank you. Yeah, this is from the opening of Galaxy's Edge. I actually was there for. I got this during the annual pass preview, but then I was there for the opening weekend um, to be there for. I arrived on opening day, so I wasn't there with the masses. I went later on in the day and did my Olga's Canteen, and the rest of the park was pretty crowded. I did a couple of my fast passes that day, and then went on to the Magic Kingdom to meet up with a lot of different YouTubers. That's where I met Myers and the Mouse, our Disney Adventures, their family, Belle Southern, Jill and Caesar and their family. Donna and Archons were there. So there was a whole lot of different people that evening. Hello, Candy Mom 15. Thank you for joining. I was just going to be talking about myself, why I like Disney, which parks I really enjoy, and just kind of do a little bit of just chatting. You can also chime in of, if you've been to Disney, what did you like about, what parks do you like, what attractions like, and everything. I know Penguin Master, we were on a trip when they were younger, and probably one of the funniest things that had happened on that trip was we went on Dumbo, and I had my backpack with me, and when we start to go up in the air and take off, I don't know how it happened, but my backpack actually fell out of the Dumbo. Wow, I'll have to watch Tanya's replay there. Just another dessert. My job lost power, so I was sent home. Oh, sorry to hear that there. Now, unfortunately for me, I'm not an essential part of my company, and so I'm at home myself. But at least, some people do still get to work, and whether they're at home or if they do have to venture in, I hope they're careful and everything like that. So, yeah, so the Animal Kingdom is your favorite, Candy Mom. It's very hard for me to distinguish which ones are my favorite. I will say that I always visit Magic Kingdom. Hello, Monarch Moments. Thank you for joining. I do appreciate it. I work for the hospital billing. Oh, okay. That makes sense there. Oh, and that's not good if your hospital area lost power unless it's been um, unless it's just that area and they keep other parts up and running somehow, or you're in another building. Because I know my aunt worked for one of the big medical systems here in Pittsburgh, and they worked in another building for the billing. So they were actually not, since they have a own, okay, yeah, they own several hospitals here in Pittsburgh. So they were in a centralized building also. So that, but when she first started out, she actually was in one of the hospitals because at that time they were independent, and then they joined on with one of the big medical systems in our area. Magic Kingdom is my favorite, but Animal Kingdom is definitely second. Oops. Yeah, yeah, for me, Magic Kingdom's probably, it's hard to say. Unfortunately for me, Animal Kingdom does not get the attention that I probably should put into it. Now, when it first opened, I was always going there, and I know people always said, "Oh, it's a half day park." Well, of course, they only had the hours till 4 or 5 or 6 o'clock at the latest, depending on what time of the year you visited. And probably if it was open till 6 o'clock, by the time 4 o'clock came, the park was pretty much empty in a sense, and you could walk on a lot of the different attractions that they had at that time. Whenever it first opened, I know Expedition Everest in Asia wasn't there yet, but they had the Lion King show. There was, of course, it was called Countdown to Extinction, which is now Dinosaur. They had, of course, It's Tough to Be a Bug, the Camp Mini Mickey, where you can meet the characters, the Safari, and that's usually where everybody went at Rope Drop, was the Safari. Not bad at Candy Mom 15, just getting a little work done. How are you? You could skip Epcot. Um, uh, for me, Epcot is probably my third one, because my first one is Magic Kingdom. No matter if I only had one day, I would probably go to the Magic Kingdom. I know, like, if I stay, especially if I was off property and stay there for something else. Hello, it's Tracy, Glenn, Kenzie, Days' dad. Thank you for stopping by. I know Kenzie goes on at 3 p.m. Hopefully everything goes out. And I know she was trying to get a premiere up, which I will watch and put it on my other device here. And I know that was for a big project, so I will definitely run that while she has it on and hit the like button for her. And then I definitely will be watching the replay to pay attention to whatever. Yeah, if I only... She is joking to start it in a minute, Amy. Oh, okay. But yeah, if I only had one day and I was in Orlando or whatever, I would probably pick the Magic Kingdom. I know it's the hardest if you're off property and have to drive. You know, you have to park at the TTC and take the monorail or the ferry boats, but that's usually the park that's easy. Where I would like to go. Of course, that has all the different memories, that a lot of the rides and everything like that. I know if you only had one day or 2 days and you had a car, you would it would probably be easier to pull in the parking lot of Epcot or Animal Kingdom or Hollywood Studios, since you don't have to actually transfer onto another mode of transportation to get there. But my number 4 would be Animal Kingdom. About like I said, unfortunately, it doesn't get the attention as I do. My last 2 trips, I did go to the Animal Kingdom for like a half a day just because I booked it totally last minute in a sense and really couldn't find too many fast passes for it. I did get one for the animation studios and Expedition Everest. So I wanted to go over and check out the Rafiki's Planet and check out that animation area that to to see how you draw, and we did share con, and so and then I did do Expedition Everest. Then I kind of walked around through Pandora and everything like that. But that's the only thing you for if I that was the whole disappointing thing with I was supposed to be leaving Thursday to do the Star Wars race this coming weekends, but since that's all been canceled and everything like that, I actually had some good fast passes like for Pandora area, of course the Safari, Expedition Everest. So there was a couple times where I was able to get Flight of Passage and some good ones from Hollywood Studios. I actually had some really good fast passes for all the parks that I don't normally get because I usually will book last minute going solo. If I'm with my family, hello Mike Wheeler, no problem. So when I book with my sister's family and everything, I let her do all the planning and fast passes. She just tells me, hey, we're going to go to this day. Is this restaurant good? Which fast passes? This is what we're looking at. Yes, I definitely want to get out to California and go back to Disneyland. When I went to Disneyland, it was only the one park at the time, and it was still the old style. I went one day, I was in Las Vegas, and I decided to fly over to LA, and I booked a Southwest trip, and I got to go. It was kind of weird because it was like a rainy day, an off and on rainy day, and the place was empty in a sense, even though it was like Christmas season, but it was during the weekday and it was kind of empty. I walked on a lot of the rides that people wait forever for, like the Indiana Jones ride. I love that. I rode that at least 3 times. Hello, Mariana Makedo. Monarch, I told PTV they have to be my guides. Yes. And Monarch Moments, it would be great to meet you down at Disneyland. But I got to ride the Indiana Jones 3 times. I love that ride. Did Space Mountain, the Matterhorn, did most of all the rides. But that was the only park at the time. But it was interesting. And now that I know a lot more about it, oh yes, I know Monarch Moments, especially with California Adventure. I know when it first opened, I was like, oh, I need to go back out there. But now after seeing tons of videos and people talk about it and just seeing it, I definitely want to get back out there. If I do, I'm going to try to combine it to go out to Hollywood Studios, Universal Hollywood Studios, for at least a day just to check it out and everything. I'll have to figure out how I'll do that transportation wise because I don't plan on really wanting to drive around LA. Kind of kicking myself. My brother had gone they went out to California a couple years ago and got to do a lot of different things. Hello, Bozo Calvin Jr. Thank you for joining. Hello, Timothy Rainwaters. No problem. I just jumped on real quick to say hello. Just talk a little bit about myself, why I like Disney. I don't want to just be known, oh, you do trivia. I want people to be able to come in. Hopefully I'll invite people on to talk about like what their favorite restaurants if you've been to Disney, or maybe talk about your hometown, like what are some attractions in your hometown, because I know here in my area there's a lot of different attractions that we like. It'll be interesting when things go try to get back up and become a normal life to what we're used to, in a sense. Hello, Lucky3. Thank you for joining. But I was going back to Number 4 is Animal Kingdom. Hopefully, though, in future trips here, I plan to spend a lot more time there. I know a lot of you, it's going on 2 years, but I had a kidney transplant about 2 years ago in August, and I decided before I would go have that transplant, I had a celebratory trip, which was like 4 days down to Disney Disney World, to kind of knowing that I wouldn't be able to travel for a while and everything like that. And so I was kind of itching to go before that all happened. So yes, I do know Bozo Kelvin Jr. No problem. Thank you, Tracy, for coming back. Welcome back. But hello, Pam. Thank you for joining. Oh, I'm sorry, Bozo Kelvin Jr., but welcome here. And so I did get to spend a little bit of time in the Animal Kingdom, but the problem was the one night we decided to go and actually try to enjoy a thunderstorm, a really bad storm. Hello, Kenzie Days. Thank you for joining. Yes, you can drop the line for Kenzie's announcement and if she's going live at 3 p.m. So you can go ahead and drop those links, Tracy. Yeah, I hope everyone is doing well and staying sane as much as possible. I know I try to stay in as much as possible, but if I need to go, I know I have to get out to the post office to mail a couple packages. And so I need to get that done. That's the only thing. I've been getting kind of lazy and I should be a little more productive in what I'm doing on my time off there. But going back to that, so I hope we did get to spend some time. We were ready to watch Rivers of Light, and the storm really got through, and of course the lightning, so it canceled and basically shut down the park for the evening because that was the last thing for the night. And then the next day, I got lucky. In the early morning, while I went to my dialysis appointment in Orlando, I was able to pick up a flight of passage fast pass, and I was like, oh, that'll be awesome. And my niece actually was able to get one too because she was gonna be able. So we decided we'll go back to the Animal Kingdom later that evening for our fast passes. And she picked me up, and then we decided we'd go to Epcot for lunch and do everything like that. So we are hoping to and got to do Flight of Passage that day. We did Epcot lunch. Epcot's my third park that I enjoy. I really got used to that whenever I would go down solo and visit my cousins who live there and work in the area. We would pick Sunday afternoon. They would go to church and no problem, Bozo Kelvin Jr. You too, Bozo Kelvin Jr. No problem. But we used to spend, after they would go to church, they would meet me at the parks, and we usually chose Epcot. It was always nice and quiet on Sunday afternoons. Oh, you're welcome, Kenzie Days. You made your reservations for your October trip. That's always fun to like look around and see. But it would be nice. It would be nice and relaxing. Early morning, walking around and picking and choosing. This is pre Fast Pass days, so also a lot of times whenever my cousins and I would be together and meet up and walk And usually by the time they got there, we'd walk around World Showcase, get something to eat. We usually went to the little Mexican fast food place that was right there at the booth because they really liked a lot of the different choices there. And sometimes we would go to the Season Sunshine Court there if it wasn't too overly crowded. It just depended on what we were doing. These were pre-Fast Pass days. During the Fast Pass days, usually my cousin, we would still pick Epcot because it was a lot easier for her to be able to pull into the parking lot park and be in the park. And we would wander around. She would either, we would go and look at what Fast Passes, because sometimes I had a Fast Pass and try to add her on or whatever. Or she would wait for me, or I would just change our Fast Passes to something that we both can do. But Epcot is my third choice. I do like all four parks, but pretty much equally in a sense. But it just depends on the time frame and what's going on. My last few trips, I spent a lot more time at Hollywood Studios and Epcot because of the Skyliner. It made it so much easier. Plus, a lot of the Christmas activities were going on at Epcot with the candlelight processional and the holidays around the world, plus the holiday festivals, trying out the foods and stuff. And a lot of times when my niece would get off or she was off that day, that we would end up going to Epcot so she could enjoy the festival foods, or we would pick a restaurant to go to. Because a lot of times, if her whole family's there, you have picky eaters, so you can't try certain places. So you end up with the same old places or somewhere off property to eat to satisfy everyone. So, or they eat at, I'm not saying Via Napoli isn't good. It's a very good place, but sometimes you get tired of pizza and stuff. So, and the last couple times when I was with my niece, we got to try Tangerine Cafe, which is very, very good in Morocco. And we usually go to Temp and Edu for a sit-down lunch or a sit-down dinner. We've done the fish and chips. We love the holiday booths or the food booths around the World Showcase during the festivals. So we tried a lot of the holiday booths. We did the cookie challenge that they had at the holiday time, and we finished that around the world there. But I would definitely try to, I know next year I definitely want to do Festival of the Arts. Want to get down there for that. I would have been here for the Flower and Garden Festival. I've been there many years ago with my sister's family. We had a trip in May, and we got to do some of the festivals of the art, or the Flower and Garden Festival. But in those days, they didn't have the booths. Only the food and wine had the booths. They just kind of started doing that over the years with the food booths, because they figured, hey, it does really well with food and wine. Let's add these food booths to these other, of course, the Flower and Garden Festival, and then they started the other stuff. Right now, Monarch Moments, since right now, I would say the Food and Wine Festival is kind of my favorite. I've been there three times. I'm sorry. I've been there 3 times for the food and wine. I'm just trying to think of how my trips were for the food and wine festivals. I've only been there once for the holiday festivals, because that's kind of new, the holiday festivals. And I was only there once for the Flower and Garden Festival, and in those days, and that was very old, because my nephew and niece were very young at that time. So they didn't have the food booths, but they had a lot of demonstrations in the past of different, like how horticulture is talking about planting stuff, or how you use some of the different fruits and vegetables and stuff that you grow and things. But it's very beautiful from all the different live streams that I've seen people go around with the Flower and Garden Festival with showing you the topiaries. I remember going into the butterfly garden and different things. I've probably been there a couple more times, so but they didn't have the food, and maybe it's because of the food that I like to try. So I'll probably be able to decide later when I do get to hit some of these other festivals, or at least get back to the Flower and Garden Festival at some point. I do like it. It was relaxing because I remember I've done like some spring trips where during spring break in March, and remember the butterfly area and everything like that. So that's the thing. And the holiday festival was pretty new for me because I've never been there, and I think that's a newer festival. I'm not sure how long ago they actually started that, but that's fairly new. My number two park that I enjoy, and it'll probably always be there, is Hollywood Studios, which to me is always going to be Disney MGM Studios. I have been going there since it first opened. I was a cast member there right after it opened. So that's always going to be in my heart. I know there's been a lot of changes over the years, but that's always going to probably be in that number two spot, or it's somewhere in there because that's always going to be in my heart. No problem, Pam's fam. That's no problem. And yes, Slinky Dog is one of my favorite rides there. I enjoy that. I got to go right after it opened at the end of July, right before I had my kidney transplant. And they were having the extra magic mornings for Hollywood Studios. Oh, no heat. I hope it'll be fixed there, because bundle up there, Pam. I know it's kind of chilly here in Pittsburgh. It was kind of nice at one point, but it kind of turned cold. So I don't know where this cold weather's coming. Probably because we didn't have much of a winter, and now it's going to be winter. Yes, I enjoy Hollywood Studios too because of Galaxy's Edge, Toy Story Land, but I've seen it change in all its inceptions of going from that working studio to where you had the backlot tour, and then on the trams, and then the walking backlot tour, and watching them. I got to ride the Tower of Terror when it was only like one drop. I think it shot you up and then dropped you, and that was the end of the ride. And then they kind of changed it up to where it is now. And then them changing it around to taking out the backlot tour to put in the that stunt show, the motor stunt show, which is kind of hello, Davey 98 TV. Thank you for joining. Be careful with that oven on there, Pam's fam. But I know people just be careful with that. So, but I worked at the Hollywood and Vine. I started there as a cast member, and this was before Hollywood and Vine became what it is now. What it is now as a buffet, character buffet. Before you went in, whenever I worked there, you went in, they had several choices of entrees, and it was called Hollywood and Vine, but it was more like a cafeteria. You go up, tell them what type of entrees you had. They had like ribs, barbecue ribs. They had half chickens. They had salads, pasta. You could get mahi fish. So they had all different things, but then you picked and choose your beverage, your entree, and then if you want a dessert, you can buy a dessert. I don't think it was included in that at that point. And that was like that for many years until they needed other, they decide, hey, character breakfasts and stuff like that. What's your dream place to work in Disney? Ooh, that's always a tough one. It would be fun to be in the Imagineering department, but since I'm not in an engineering thing. I know a lot of that is, you have to have that kind of imagination. I remember as a cast member, I would put in different ideas that I thought would be fun, and they would send you a letter and stuff like that. But I think probably one of the tour guides would like working for guest services. I know that's a pretty tough job in a sense, but it would be fun to be one of the tour guides or ambassador type of people to take around the different people and talk about the parks and everything like that. But the ultimate goal would be great to be an Imagineer, because there's always some fun ideas to throw around and different stuff and do that. But that would be fun to be an Imagineer, depending on what level you would actually be on. But if I couldn't do that, then probably like one of the VIP tour guides, or that would be a fun job in a sense. I know, yeah, it's a lot of work, and you have to be, on your game and everything like that. But it would be fun just to make that magic. Yes, I could see you wanting to do that. That would be a great goal, especially for people who love acting. I know you love Beauty and the Beast, so that would be a great goal to want to do that. I know I worked at Hollywood and Vine, then I moved over to the Primetime Cafe. Um, and that was also fun, where, in those days, anything Beauty and the Beast. Hey, I don't blame you. You go for um, where your interests and stuff lies. I know Mike was in entertainment. I'm not sure what other areas he was in down there, but he does seem to know a lot of different stuff. Um, so yeah, I would go for it sometime if you get the chance. um, but working at the Primetime Cafe, that was fun. I know it's kind of changed over the years. Of course, the menus changed. I know when I worked there, I know people talk about the peanut butter shake. I used to make those peanut butter and jelly shakes, or chocolate shakes, or vanilla shakes. That was probably one of the areas that I could handle good. But then whenever I had to work the sandwich part and the mac and cheese part, I got behind a lot of times. But for me, working the grill or the saute area was great. Then also working out in the front restaurant, where you can play around and say, hey, don't put your elbows on the table. What color's the soap? And you didn't eat all your vegetables. Let's eat one more, and play that little playing game. And I know the menus changed over the years. I know for me, when I worked there, they had a great appetizer of cheese fries with Vermont cheddar cheese. And oh man, that was delicious. There would be times that I would just go into the tune in lounge just to go eat those fries, because they were delicious. Um, and they had steaks. There was burgers for lunchtime, because their menu was a little bit different. At lunchtime, they offered sandwiches and burgers and stuff. And now I think they pretty much keep it kind of uniform, with maybe a special here or there. I can't remember if they do have sandwich, like regular sandwiches, like club sandwiches. They had great club sandwich. They had a roast beef club that was really good. Excuse me. Um, but they had great desserts. They still do. Yes, Hollywood and Vine became a buffet with characters. They started off with the Playhouse Disney characters in the morning for breakfast, so they were the only ones. But then they left it as a dinner buffet and stuff. Then they added the Fabulous Five, or well, it all depends. It's not always the Fab Five, because I know when I was there the one time in the summertime, it's Donald's Beach Bash, and Donald's there, Goofy, Mickey, I believe Daisy was there, and Minnie might have been there. And they have Minnie's, yeah, Christmas time dinner, and she does a Halloween dinner. Yeah, I would shoot for the stars. I know you're just starting out and doing your college, going to college and all that, so you have time to try and do that, Kenzie, of becoming one of the entertainment people or Belle or whoever. Hello, Desire Dreams. Thank you for joining. But yeah, Hollywood and Vine became a character buffet area. Um, but I didn't work there whenever it was a buffet area. I then moved on to help them set up the sci-fi restaurant and the commissary restaurant. They actually share the same kitchen area. The commissary menu is a lot better now than it was when it first opened. But it's a nice place for. I believe lunch is more of a quick service, but then dinner they changed it into kind of like a sit down table service. I'm not sure what type of credit you use there now, and I know it was a nice place for lunch or whatever because they used to have a steak on that menu. I didn't notice it there, but they did have really good ribs there the last time. The last time when I was at Hollywood Studios in December, because of the Rise of the Resistance ride and everything, I had, of course, the Ronto wraps. I ate at the Sci-Fi Drive-In, which that evening was very good. I had a nice milkshake, and I did get the steak because I was on the dining plan, and I was surprised I was able to get in there. Usually, I do try other places, but since I was in the park and I was waiting around for the evening, that was a nice time to just go and sit and rest and everything. I know the food can be hit or miss. There are some places that are maybe a tad better, but the steak that I had that night was really good, and the service and everything was really good. But I know nowadays, after watching a lot of different people on the shows talk about places, I did try the Hello Duke Family Chronicles. Thank you for joining. I definitely want to try the Hollywood or the Brown Derby's outside service, the lounge area that they have that you could just kind of walk up to and get. They have some good sliders there. The Backlot Express is not a bad choice for a counter service. We've eaten there. Ronto wraps are good. I looked at the menu at Docking Bay 7. I haven't eaten there, but I do know other people who have eaten there, and it's been hit or miss for them. Yeah, the Hollywood Brown Derby Lounge, the sliders and stuff is good. I know the people love the Cobb salad at the Hollywood and Brown at the Brown Derby restaurant. They have a great grapefruit cake. Unfortunately, I can't eat grapefruit because it interacts with medications that I take. But it's very good there. Mama Melrose is not too bad. I haven't eaten there in a while. I tried to get in there this last trip when I was there in December, but it was always booked, and I would keep checking throughout the day. But that was that there. Plus, there's just so many other things that I wanted to do or eat at, especially getting over to Epcot and eating around. And I know if you do the outside lounge, you can get a mini size Cobb salad. So you can just try that. I want to do a lot more of the lounges next time around. So if I may do a dining plan, it might be just a quick service type of thing, or just scrap it all together and put whatever I was going to spend on dining on the dining plan and put it on a gift card and go around. And do I have an all-time favorite restaurant in all of Disney, or is it too hard to pick? In a way, for me, it's hard to pick, but I do love Ohana's. And if I'm with my sister's family, we usually try and do Ohana's on our trip. I think it depends on each place. For me, it's a little hard to pick. There's just too many different ones that I like. I would say a favorite go-to, And I know it's not really authentic Japanese, but tempeh idu, because you can go places like that even around here, but that's usually a safe go-to place for me, favorite place. And Via Napolis is one of my favorites also. Hello, this is our Dreams and Pam's fam, if I didn't say hello earlier. But when I'm with my sister's family, Ohana's is one of the our favorites to go to. So that kind of gives you a choice. I know Ohana's. I've read lately different people's opinions where I'm guessing it's a hit or miss of how things are, or maybe you just don't like it. I'm not gonna. Everybody has their own opinion. I do look up to see what people are saying about restaurants, but a lot of times it doesn't usually stop me unless it's something I absolutely do not like. I'm not a big fish per se person, but I love seafood. I will eat crab, I will eat lobster and shrimp. So going somewhere with that in mind is good. I do eat the fish and chips in England at the England booth, which is I like the fish and chips. That's just a nice size piece of fish that you get. So and I will say I don't give Disney Springs much justice anymore. When it was in the days of Pleasure Island and the parks actually did close earlier, I would go to Disney Springs, but in those days they didn't really have the vast array of restaurants that they have now. But the last two of my trips, one that was when I went for the pass holder preview of Galaxy's Edge, and when I went for my kidney transplant celebration trip before I had my transplant, I did go to Disney Springs. My niece and I went there, and we did go. Her and I went to Morimoto's Asia, the Morimoto's, and we enjoyed that. We did go into Jock Lindsay's to take a look around, and it was happy hour, and he showed us the menu and everything. But we decided it was just too early to really want to enjoy happy hour and stuff. So we did have to do that. Talking about food nowadays, even McDonald's seems like a treat. Yes, it does. Yeah, the Ponderosa used to have the seafood buffets and everything around here also whenever they had Ponderosas. I don't think they have anymore. They used to have one that was down in an area by us, but that had closed. I know my mom liked to go there, and they do have one of those buffet places, the Golden Corral, which is out in another area far from us. It used to be really good. I haven't been there in a while, and I don't see them really advertising as much as they used to, but they were fairly well. I just wonder how. They used to have Chi-Chi's around here, Griswold Family Vacay, but they since left and went kind of bankrupt around here. I don't know if they have Chi-Chi's where you live, but they used to have Chi-Chi's here, but there was an outbreak of E. coli or something that pretty much put them out of business in our area because one of the, and I don't know if that was a nationwide thing that happened. But I loved Chi-Chi's when we used to have Chi-Chi's. That was one of my go-to places with my friends. We could go there, hang out, get appetizers, eat chips, and get the fried ice cream. And there are Mexican restaurants around these days, but nothing seems to come close to that Americanized type of Mexican that Chi-Chi's had. But I do know a good Mexican restaurant that's outside of Disney property, and it's called Chuy's or Chew. It's like Chouy's, Chuy's, or I'm not sure how they pronounce it, but I do know a lot of cast members kind of go there, and I know my cousin goes there a lot. She loves Mexican, and that's one of the things. Yes, I believe that's the spelling there, Griswold, Chuys. Jeff, are you referring to to the racing person? um, but at Disney Springs, I've been to the Morimoto's. um, when T-Rex first opened. Plus, a lot of times when I would stay on property with my sister's family because they own into the timeshare areas that are right outside of Disney Springs. Usually, like our first evening or maybe our last evening, because usually our last day, Friday, it all depended on what we were doing and everything. But a lot of times we would, like our last day would be pick something what the kids want to do, whether it was a water park um, or some other types of things. Um, we would go to T-Rex restaurants. I've been to the Rainforest Cafe, but the T-Rex one is also nicely designed, and the kids really enjoyed that. They love dinosaurs and stuff, so we would go there for the kids. The food wasn't too bad, and the volcano dessert was fun to get. They came out and made noises and different things like that. But I know in Disney Springs these days we have a Blaze Pizza around here. Um, so I know I did get to taste Blaze while I was down there before I went to go to Blaze here. Hello, Mrs. J's Cooking. Thank you for joining. Oh, I didn't know that, Pam. I'll have to read up on my Disney news there. If anybody wants to put Kenzie Days' link in, I believe she's going live at 3 p.m. So I don't want to go over. Oh, yes. Hi, Brandy. Sorry about that. That just rang a bell. And then when Mike just said Brandy. So thank you for joining, Brandy. Very nice. Look forward to your cooking stuff. I know you guys. Oh, okay. You're going fine at live at 4:30. Okay. Thank you, Kenzie. I'm looking forward to your. Oh, no problem, Brandy. I'm looking forward to watching your videos or even your live streams. I know some of the food that you guys have been making. It really makes me hungry, and boy, I need to try some of them. Some of those recipes there. But I try to go to Disney Springs, but I don't like to leave a park. And a lot of times, it all depends on my schedule. The day that I went with my niece, it was like I did go to the Magic Kingdom in the morning, and then I said, "Hey, I'll meet you," because I had a late flight. I'll meet you at Disney Springs because it was easier for her to meet me there, or she picked me up at my resort, and we went and spent the afternoon, had lunch, so-called dinner, and kind of walked around and looked around. It's certainly different than from all its inceptions in the days. But I can't wait to go back. There are a lot of places. I know Splitsville has very, very good food. It'd be fun to go bowling with a bunch of all of you if I'm ever down there again with a lot of you there. Yeah, that's my problem. I never want to leave the parks to go down to go eat at Disney Springs. So, and a lot of times since I have an annual pass, I book my flights as early as possible unless there's no way I can do that. Then maybe I would go there for an evening because the parks have closed or haven't closed. But I usually will go right to a park when I get there after checking in and getting settled in. Or I might just eat at my resort real quick and then head out to a park. So it just depends on if my room's ready or not. The only way I would probably go to Disney Springs on my arrival day is if I had to work most of the day and then came later in that day, I may choose just to go to Disney Springs and look around and everything like that. So yes, that's me. With having an annual pass, going to the Magic Kingdom, if there's 2 hours left of the park being open, I pretty much would drop off my luggage and head over. I don't, and get there. And even if it's just sitting on Main Street and enjoying the view, or walking up Main Street, looking through the stores, and maybe catch a ride on something, probably the TTA would be something to do in the last few times. I can't wait for the railroad to get open because I've been known in past trips to go over to the Magic Kingdom and ride the railroad around, get off, ride it all the way around, then get off at Frontierland, go ride the Haunted Mansion, and walk back through the park or ride the train again and leave. So that's one of the nice things of having the annual passes. You don't worry about, hey, I'm not going to burn a day off of my pass or whatever. I would only go bowling if there are bumpers available. Me, yeah, it's yeah. I would play with bumpers, and I know like the bowling alley that I go to, you can each player can either have bumpers or not, so they kind of switch off and on. Or everybody can have bumpers. Usually, if you're with kids or a birthday party. Yes, I do miss the train. There's been many a times that I sometimes use it as transportation to get back to Fantasyland or the back of the park area. And even if I was back in Fantasyland and wanted to walk through Circus Story Time and I don't feel like walking all the way back up front or over to Frontierland, it was always nice to hop on and ride over to Frontierland because I just like riding the train. I like trains. I did get to do one of their train tours. This was before 9/11. They actually gave out after the end of the tour one of the railroad spikes from that. So I have one of the railroad spikes from the Walt Disney World Railroad. And it was a very nice tour. I know the guy, he talked about, a lot of people, he says it's their dream to be one of the conductors on the railroad, to work the Walt Disney World Railroad. And, you could test to be one of the drivers and he'd tell you how to do that and everything like that. So, yeah, I'll have to grab that one of these days to show you the railroad spike. It looks like any other railroad spike. When I was a kid, we lived near the, they call it a trolley system. Now it's called the T system. It's kind of like our miniature subway here in Pittsburgh. But when I was a kid, we used to live near those tracks and we'd find those spikes all the time laying on the side or whatever if they forgot to pick them up. Yes, it is. You don't feel pressured as much. It benefited a lot of times when I did have the annual pass. Because if I was staying with my sister, I would go with my sister's family, and we were staying at their timeshare, and we'd ride in one car. They didn't have to pay for parking because I had that. I had the Tables in Wonderland, so we saved money on at least some type of discount on our meals at different places. They, a lot of times when I would travel with them, I would usually let them choose like what we would do. And my sister would ask, and I said, I have no problem. And sometimes we'd all stay together or we would split up because different ages and heights of the kids. And it was just fun being there with the kids and watching Disney through their eyes and stuff. I know people say, kids don't remember things, but I know my nephew was like 4 years old and he remembered we were actually in another park and he's like, where's the Buzz Lightyear ride and stuff. And, I'm like, well, it's not this park, it's another park. But, he remembered a lot of different stuff like that. So, but that was the thing. Okay, Candy Mom, thank you for joining. I do appreciate that. The only thing I ask, if you were enjoying it, I hope that you guys all would hit the thumbs up button, whether you're here now or on your way out. That would be great. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing and hit that notification bell. I will go live every Sunday evening. Most of the time, it will probably be trivia or chat. I don't know. I do have other show and tell items that I'll be taking care of and stuff. Yes, I do agree that they remember. My nephews, they would have been happy riding all the transportation at Disney World and swimming in in the pools, because we'd get to the park and by the time we got up to Main Street or we were standing in line to get into the park, they'd be like, I want to go swimming and stuff. But they would have been happy riding the monorail, the train, the boats all day long. At the parks, they love the trains. They love all the different transportation and airplanes and stuff like that. So, but yeah, he would talk about that. They weren't really keen on meeting the characters, but if we were at a character dinner or meal, they enjoyed that distance between them and everything like that. Yeah, if you want to put Mrs. J's cooking in her link in there, if people would like to sub to Cooking with Brandy, that would be great. So you can, Tracy, if you like to. Yeah, they do the vehicles at times. I know early in the morning on Main Street at the at the Magic Kingdom, and I know a couple of times I've seen on other streams of people who were there in the summertime. Um, they would actually have some of the smaller transportation running in the evenings. I know Tanya from That Crazy Disney Lady, the one time her and her friend were there, I don't know if it was a special event or whatever, but they got the ride, the double decker bus, and then there was another type of I think it was an automobile type of vehicle that they got the ride up Main Street, and then the guy rode them back. He asked them if they wanted a ride. So that was a very neat thing to see. I rode the trolley once. A lot of times, usually you're going in there and you're just kind of wanting to get up to the end of the street, depending on what time we arrived there. I know I was always someone who was standing outside the gates waiting for the opening. And I do remember for a long time, you did go into the park and then you kind of stood around the hub. And then for a while there, they stopped doing that and had everybody line up outside the gates and do their opening show. And then, of course, when things changed for security reasons and other things, they moved everybody back into the hub and walked around and stuff. And they do the opening show at the castle. So that's that was something there. Of course, my number one park is the Magic Kingdom. It's where you can be. I'm not saying you can't be a kid anywhere else, but where you can be a kid and really enjoy. And just like the sayings are, when you walk under the train station and everything, just that magic. I remember my first trip, just walking in there mesmerized. And when I first went to Disney, only Epcot and the Magic Kingdom were open. And of course, the Magic Kingdom was the first park we went to. And, you saw the monorail or you took the ferry boat across. And it was just exciting when you got there out of the car. I think we ended up riding the ferry boat in the morning just because it takes a lot more people and you just get on and go across. It's a nice, relaxing ride across the lagoon there. And then we did get to ride the monorail around. So, yes, that's fine. Yes, yes, that is. Thank you, Tracy. And Pam's fan also. She put in the banana bread one. Thank you. Yes, and don't forget to check out Brandy and Dave. And also, I'm not going to just shout out a lot of different people, but there are a lot of good creators right in my chat. Go and check them all out. Monarch Moments, Tracy Glenn's Kenzie Days is that. Of course, Tracy Glenn, or Kenzie Days. Pam's fam had her first live stream with Mike Wheeler. If you want to put in the link to that live stream, go right ahead, Pam or Tracy or Garrett. Go check out them. See her beautiful drawings and everything. So that is, and This Our Dreams and Monarch Moments. Not that hopefully I didn't forget anybody. but there are a lot of great creators out there and a lot that have been in my chat. So I do appreciate that. Go check them all out. Hey, that's fine for me because I don't get into I don't get into the lot of not too complicated type of meals. In fact, for me to even and yes, Griswold Family Vacay, they have started their own live streams, and they also have some premieres and videos out there that are really good for other places around the country here. So that's so go check them all out. But yeah, the basic foods are great because that's where I'm basically at. I mean, the most complicated thing I ever brought back for me from working at Primetime Cafe is a Mexican chicken, where you grill the chicken breasts on a grill, or you could even cook it in your oven or however you want to. And then you put the salsa and Mexican style cheese or cheddar cheese or whatever cheese you want. And it's pretty delicious. So that's probably the most complicated I've gotten. I've also cooked a spaghetti sauce, but I use canned tomatoes and sometimes fresh tomatoes. But ground beef if we want meat or whatever in it, or marinara. So it's all the different stuff. Banana brownies with brown butter frosting. Oh man, that sounds good, Tracy. Timothy. But yeah, being at the Magic Kingdom, it's just it's just pretty awesome. It seems like a lot of my Magic Kingdom days, depending on what we do, we seem to hit most of the attractions during the day as long as they're not down or refurbishing. I know for a while there, I know a lot of people. I I know the Astro Orbiter. I very rarely get to ride it, but when we do, yeah, it seems a little scary because it does fly around fast and it is up in the air to begin with, and then of course you go way up in the air. But the views from there, even though it goes fast, you can really see a lot of the Contemporary Resort and around Tomorrowland. And it does kind of lean a little bit, so I could see where it feels scary and everything like that. But you can always count on Garrett and Tracy to do their daily push-ups. But yeah, so the Astro Orbiters is yes, Mike did help you, and he was great to be a good support for you, Pam, on your stream. But all the rides there, they're fun. I really enjoy now that they added the new Fantasyland. I love the Mine Train ride. I wish it was just a tad longer, but it does do the trick. I think it always felt like it needed to be longer, but since Slinky Dog Dash is kind of set up on that same concept of the launch and stuff like that, and it's a little bit longer, it just makes me wish it would be a little bit longer on the Mine Train. But it is enjoyable. And when we were down in June, we actually had kind of a magical moment from the cast members there, where we were sitting towards the back of the ride, and they asked if we wanted to go back on after we got off. Thank you, Tracy. So they asked if we would like to go back on after we had gotten off the ride, and so they escorted us right down to the thing because nobody seemed to want to sit towards the back. And I actually ended up enjoying the back of the car because even though I don't know if people know that those barrels kind of like swing a little bit and everything, and it just made that ride just more enjoyable sitting in the back of the ride. Our main train goes about 3 miles per hour and looks like a carnival ride. It just slapped up. Where do you guys have a Mine Train ride, Monarch Moments? But Mine Train, of course, the Little Mermaid area, and of course, Beast Castle. The one attraction that I haven't been able to get into lately is that I haven't been to the Bell's Cottage. I've seen it and stuff, but my timing just never was able to go into the Bell's Cottage yet. So that's something to put on my list. I've seen various videos of different people or pictures and stuff inside there. So it kind of gives me an idea of going in there. I think, though, in a way, maybe it's a little strange going in there by yourself, solo as an adult. So I don't know what other people feel like that. But at times with that, it's called Snow White Scary Adventures. Okay. I didn't know it was a roller coaster there. Actually, when the Magic Kingdom actually had the Snow White Scary Adventures, I actually enjoyed that ride. And I do miss Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, but Winnie the Pooh was fun also, the ride. Our version of the mine train. Okay. So snitches are not getting those stitches. Okay. Yeah. The Snow White ride was fun to ride. Now it's the Princess Fairy Tale Hall. Hello, Tina McNeil. Thank you for joining. I was just talking about my top 4 parks in the order. Okay, Brandy, thank you for joining. And we'll see you soon. Have a great day. Hello, Once Upon an Adventure, Melanie, thank you for joining. But my top 4 parks is, of course, Magic Kingdom is 1. Number 2 is Hollywood Studios. Number 3 is Epcot. And number 4 is Animal Kingdom. But I do like them all pretty much equally. It's just a matter of which parks I go to and which parks sometimes I don't get to it. And like I said, I don't really do. Hello, Shelly Starwalker. Thank you for joining. I don't do the Animal Kingdom justice as much anymore as I used to when it first opened. My last few trips, I was lucky I even got there. And one of the reasons why I went there in August so I could get the Simba magnet. But I did do the safari that day. But I didn't have much time because I wanted to make sure I got to meet Mike Wheeler at the Coca-Cola store in August. So I took my time to do the get my magnet, go ride the safari, and head off to meet Mike Wheeler. I did not want to miss that moment. So it was a great reason to not give the Animal Kingdom much time. But I do like the Animal Kingdom. It is fun to wander around some of the paths. I know when you go up through the Oasis, there's a little bit of a tunnel area. And just walking around the Tree of Life. I don't know if any of you guys walk some of those different trails. Sometimes it looks like maybe you shouldn't go down those trails. But, you can kind of wander around and just enjoy the animals. It does, yes, in the summer, it does feel like 100 degrees hotter than any of the other parks. I remember that when I first used to go to the Animal Kingdom, it'd be like, oh, it's hot and stuff. Yes, yes, I do believe that that's the best reason to ditch Animal Kingdom. Yes, I am missing to that. Yeah, what's to see? Seen one animal, seen them all. Yes, Pam, I am very lucky. I was hoping during another trip that I would have been able to at least drive up to where Mike lives. I used to live in Orlando, so I knew that it on I-4, it could take anywhere from 20 minutes to a half hour to an hour to get to where he is, depending on the traffic and the so-called construction that they ever seem to be doing there. But I would have been willing to drive up to meet Mike Wheeler somewhere around his neighborhood if he could get to the mall there or even a food place to sit there and chat or whatever. I would have done that if he couldn't get anywhere else. Yes, so was I, Tracy. So believe me, it's kind of sad. I was sitting there thinking that I'm glad I had already moved my my flights that I had, or at least cancel them to put into credit. And now I'm kind of looking to see. Um, yeah, it seems like a more deconstruction than anything in Orlando there. Um, but that would have let me get to meet more people like Tracy and Kenzie and many others that would have been there, and to actually reunite and say hello to a lot of the local people like Samantha and Donna and Arjons, and run into Corey Meets World, or Resort TV1, Josh and Jenna and company. So that would have been fun to meet everyone. Plus, be there with Angela of This Our Dreams, and the Myers and the Mouse. And I know a few other people were going to be there, like Steve's World, and some others that were planning on being down there this coming 2 weeks here because of Earth Day and everything like that. Yes, I would have been able to meet Angela at this our dreams at that time. But yeah, hopefully that if they're not in Florida, once they say it's okay to start traveling, I'll get to at least maybe meet up with them for dinner or something before they take off to Florida for the summer, or for whatever they plan on doing here. You never know. There's times that I sit there like on their stream, did they sneak off to Florida and start driving down? But but they're pretty much, I know, in Florida, talking with my niece and seeing things from my cousin and stuff, that they're pretty much, doing the same thing we're pretty much doing, except, This Our Dreams is working and stuff. But they're kind of pretty much at their houses and deciding on options of what they'll be able to do, since they'll be furloughed cast members here in the next week or so. So I don't know. I'm not sure what my niece will do. I know her parents would love her to at least come back here and spend some time up here with them for a little bit. I know you can't really go around too much here, but so she's kind of looking at her options, whether to what to do. But still, if she comes up here, she'll definitely apply for the Florida unemployment down there. I told her at least start getting that together, so when it's time for you guys to do that, you'll at least have everything ready and send it out. And I would probably send it out now, because by the time they probably get to everything, you know, it'll probably take a while anyway. Disneyland churros are magical, though. I heard the Disneyland churros are a lot better. I remember the first time we had churros, we couldn't get enough of them. I know at the Magic Kingdom, that's the only place we knew where you could get them. I know at the Mexican Pavilion, the lunch, the counter service place, you can get churros there, but they would have people in line, and they would bring out, say, 50 of them, and they would be gone in an instant. The churros, because they were nice and warm and hot. So that's when the best time to get them is when they first come out of the oven, and that's just like the pretzels and everything. Pam shot Kenzie and I once said father daughter team. I was like, there is another father daughter team. Never thought it was us till she showed the drawing. Ah, okay. Fine, Jeff, you can go take Animal Kingdom, and me and Angela will go hang out on our own then. One of the things, it's hard. I do love the Animal Kingdom, and I love the safari and stuff. But after going to actual Zimbabwe and a real safari park, which a lot of you have seen my lion picture, and walking with the lions, and I actually got to stay at a real like animal park with a like a little tent cabin type of thing, which was really nice. Whenever they say a tent, it actually had plumbing and stuff like that inside there. But it was kind of hard to really want to go stay at the Animal Kingdom Lodge. I was like, oh, I've already seen that, and not to say that the safari is boring. It's always fun to go and look and see what animals you see, and and I really want to do the wild trek Africa, the Africa wild trek that you can walk through parts of the safari ride. So that's one of my bucket lists to do. So so that would have so it wouldn't be that. Do you hear the lions roar at night? I believe we did when we actually followed them in a Jeep on a hunting trip, Ruby Princess Jeep. And yes, you do hear various animals at night. So yes. So that would be Jeff's just bitter that I got to meet Angela and he hasn't. Yes, yes, he is. Oh, no problem, Griswold family vacation. That's no problem. Yeah, that's the thing. When I was in Africa, we did the elephant rides. Being short and then being way up on top of it was a way larger and higher than I ever expected to be off the ground. It was a nice ride and stuff, but it was also a little scary for me because it was super high off the ground there. And even the people that I was with, you were still kind of high off the ground. It was interesting when we were on. They actually took a horseback ride through the safari area, and I decided not to do that because I was kind of tired from our travel, and I got up early to go meet the little tiger cubs in their pen and stuff like that, and you got to pet them, and it was kind of like petting, like, be careful with your items dangling from you because they could get you, but at the same time it was like playing with kittens. But I had gotten up early to do that and then did the elephant ride, so I was kind of tired at that time. But believe it or not, a zebra is a fuzzy animal when you get up close to a zebra. When we were I did take the ride around in the Jeep African safari, just kind of like the safari that they do have at the Animal Kingdom. But remember, I also did the Animal Kingdom before I actually went to Zimbabwe, Africa. So it still was rather interesting. The lion part of it, the park that we went to in Zimbabwe was called the Antelope National Park there. And they do specifically deal with lions and various things to protect the lions and stuff like that. So like one afternoon, our guide that took us around and was our guide that we would sign up for different things, took us to a giant pen because they were getting ready to feed. No, I don't think I want to be the next Tiger King. Took us to a pen where they feed the lions, and they put out this giant pile of meat, and then that's how they see who's the dominant lion also, because they let them out, they'll pace around, and then they just come charging at this pile, and you're kind of behind fences, so you want to be careful. Didn't see any crocodiles or alligators, but I believe there probably were some in the waters that were by us. I remember monkeys jumping on top of our tents, but they were more like a hut type of tent. They did have indoor plumbing, bathroom stuff, so it was really nice there. Outdoor kitchen and everything like that. So it was a very good trip. I do have a video. I did do a stream about my trip where I showed some of the pictures and talked about it. So it was a fun time. But I also was there because I was on a mission trip from a group that is in this area, called the Nadiri Connection. They made a partnership with one of the missions over there, and been helping them out ever since. A party pack of Oreos with hippos. But yeah, that's one of the things I want to do is the wild African trek. But all the parks, like I said, are equally fun. I try to get to all of them. It just depends on the time. I know my June trip, since we decided, I was with my sister and her husband and her mother-in-law, and we were down there visiting my niece And hello, Lena, Paper Scissors, Vacations Oh My. Hello, two real geeks. Um, we decided to go to SeaWorld. My niece had an annual pass for SeaWorld. We went to SeaWorld one day. We got tickets to Universal for, they had, if you bought 2 days, you got like 3 or 4 days free. I forget what the special was. I bought my tickets, and then my sister took their tickets and traded them in for annual passes because they did go back down to do Halloween Horror Nights with my niece, and my niece actually, they got her an annual pass for Universal Studios. I thought about getting an annual pass because I was hoping to go back again because I still want to ride Hagrid's ride. So I know my next Orlando trip will include Universal Studios, and do it. I was planning on trying to go over there in December, but every day I looked, the Hagrid's ride wasn't up and running, and the time just got kind of away from me. Um, and going back to Hollywood Studios, I love the Galaxy's Edge area. I know it's not the Star Wars that I grew up on and everything, and it's a new land, but it's so immersive. You walk in there and you're just like in a different world. The Rise of the Resistance ride, I enjoyed that. I did get in line 5 times, got the ride at 3. Each time that I did get in, the first time I got in, it did break down. They gave us a fast pass, so I had to come back later that day, turn in my fast pass, so I got the ride at finally. And then I tried another morning. I got my boarding pass and everything, and it wasn't until later that evening that I was called, and we got in line, started sneaking all the way through. I got all the way up to where before you get to the one part, and the ride broke down, and I was like, oh no. And of course, at the end of the evening, I knew it wasn't going to come back up because it usually took them about an hour to repower everything back up as much as they could, because I know sometimes there is an A part of the ride and a B plan to the ride, so it just depends on if that particular animatronic is acting up or not, or how it's synced, since it is trackless. But that was a night where I ended up getting a fast pass to come back and ride it the next day, and a 1-day hopper ticket to come back to the park. So everybody in that night got it, and then got back in line another day and ended up having to come back because it broke down. And then I finally did get the ride at my last day. So that was the thing. I think Jungle Cruise, when I hear hippos. Yeah, they do have a lot of the hippos. That was the one ride that I was kind of afraid of first whenever I first rode the Jungle Cruise as a youngster, first time at the Magic Kingdom, the Jungle Cruise, because I wasn't expecting what it was, and you just wonder, is that real or not? But then, you realize later that it really isn't. And the Haunted Mansion's probably one of my all-time favorite rides. And that was the first time I ever went to that. It wasn't sure how scary, or is it funny, scary. The only thing that I ever had seen was an Osmond Brothers special to Disneyland, and they were going into the Haunted Mansion there, which I know they're both different because I did ride the Haunted Mansion at Disneyland. I wish they would do the overlay that they do out in Disneyland. Hello, Dennis Algazi. Thank you for joining. Hello, Disney Nerd Herders. Thank you for joining. I'm not going to stay on too much longer as I've been kind of rambling. I know probably other people are going to be streaming. I'm not sure, but I know I don't want to keep you all hey, doing it. And I know I'm just rambling on, but I do appreciate everyone for joining. Make sure you guys hit that thumbs up button. If you haven't already subscribed, please consider subscribing. Hit that notification bell and know when I go live. Today is Monday, so happy Monday. I hope you're all having a good day, staying safe, relaxing inside, finding various activities to do. And I hope you have a good week. I know the days keep running. I know the other day, I know it's just coming Saturday, and I was like, what day is it? And how could it be this day? I'm like, wait, we haven't celebrated Easter yet. So, but now I kind of got myself back to, okay, it's Monday type of thing. And I do thank all my moderators. I should call them my magicians, actually. But I do thank them all for helping out with the stream and keeping things safe. This is a family friendly environment. And just keep the chat family friendly. Oh, you're welcome. I know I may not, probably not this evening. It just depends. And that's the big thing is I've been staying up kind of late. But I may. Okay, this are dreams. Thank you. Enjoy your Oreos. Now, I was looking last night to see what Oreos we have left. I still have the green troll ones. The other ones are great, are pretty good, and they go fastest in my family is the golden Oreos. So I know if I get back out, that might be something I'll be looking at to see if they're on sale and get golden Oreos. But so I may do some late night trivia one of these nights, whether it's late night after Noah on Tuesday, like I did last Tuesday, or or maybe it all depends. Probably Tuesday evening, a late night trivia, or because by the time Pepper Tree Villa usually gets off, it's a little too late and I'm tired by then. So yes, remember Kenzie Day goes on at 4:30 p.m. for her live stream. Don't forget to watch her premiere video that she has. So check that out. Okay, Garrett, thank you very much. Have a great day. I would say we are the magician's assistant, but I'm not wearing a dress. Oh, no problem, Mike. You wouldn't have to wear a dress. Bye, Monarch Moments. Bye, Hannah, Michelle, and Garrett, and Gabe. Yes, Kenzie's announcement video. Don't forget to check that out. I know I ran it while she was doing it, but I definitely will go back and watch the replay and see what the big announcement is. But so I may do some late night trivia tomorrow evening. It depends on how tired I am and everything. And sometimes Saturday afternoons I try to go live as long as no one else is in that time spot or wanting to go live. I like to try to be courteous with other streamers and give them a chance. So possibly tomorrow some late night trivia, and then Sunday evenings at 8 p.m. will be my more permanent spot. And you can check everything out at theliveplace.com. Thank you, Dean, for hosting over 80 some creators and family friendly channels. And I do thank Dean from the Live Place for hosting my channel. And you can always find to see who's on live. It's kind of like a TV guide to YouTube at theliveplace.com. But yes, I will say I was a cast member when I first went in. I would think it was the summer of 1983. It was just Magic Kingdom and Epcot. I was totally mesmerized. I was just got out of ninth grade, completely mesmerized by the parks, and that was something that I was like, oh, I would love to go back. We did get to go back after another year before or after I graduated. We went back down to Disney, and that trip we decided to go over to the Gulf Coast to check it out and look at some other types of things. Oh, okay, that'll be cool. And so that'll be so we checked out the Gulf Coast and was going to check out some other things. And it was actually around the 4th of July, and we decided we were planning on going to Disney, and we did stay and do Epcot and Magic Kingdom again, and of course meeting the crowd, the crazy crowds at the on the 4th of July, and we had to park in the grass over at the Magic Kingdom parking lot. So imagine what that was like. I mean, I know these days, I'm guessing they still kind of do that, but they probably have more parking than they probably did in the early days. I do remember the racetrack that they used to have there, that they were going to do NASCAR races. I think they only got to do maybe 1 or 2 NASCAR races there before people were complaining of the noise and stuff. So I'm not sure what the whole story of how they ended up not doing that anymore. Mike Wheeler or maybe Pepper Tree Villa or somebody would know that story. And then, of course, they had it there for a while, maybe for smaller races. And then I know Richard Petty had his driving school there. My brother-in-law had participated in that twice for the ride around, once for the ride around, and he actually went to the school where you could drive. My nephews, they were there with their parents one time for Father's Day, and they actually had a special for dads and their kids. So they finally got the ride in a race car. That was a great dream of theirs type of things. They love cars, they love planes and trains, so they're very big on transportation stuff. But that was something exciting that they got to do. It was a complete surprise for them that they were able to get to ride around in the race cars. So they did something with that with the kids. So on that Father's Day weekend. So that was a fun surprise for them. But I'm going to go ahead and sign off. I do appreciate everyone stopping in. And and I hope you guys all have a great day. I do thank everyone for joining. Like I said, check out a lot of the people that were in my stream. They are good creators. They have a great channels of various features, whether it's Disney, whether it's art, or places around their area. Because I know when I get back out, I'm not going to be actually rushing to Disney. I mean, that's in the horizon of going back to Disney. In fact, I even said if they open up in stages, and depending on how they handle the different things, I probably wouldn't mind. And I know it's very hard to go all the way to Florida and just hang out at a resort. But I thought about, hey, if I got a nice deal and pick a resort that I know I would enjoy just hanging out at the pool and stuff like that, that might be something to do, because I'm just as curious as everybody else how they're going to kind of reorganize and how they're going to reopen, whether it's just Disney Springs and maybe one of the parks, and then eventually add the other parks back in, do it in stages, which I'm kind of guessing how that'll probably be done. I'm curious if they're actually going to have resorts that are full, where they might, even though they have 1,000 rooms at a resort, they might only fill it to 500 rooms and something, just until they get started back again. I don't think they actually had any NASCAR races there, but I know they did hold special events and practice trial runs. Okay. Thank you, Shelley Starwalker. You have a great day also. Yeah, I was wondering about that, Mike. I know that people complained about the noises and stuff, but I wasn't sure if they were going to actually have NASCAR events, but I do remember some different special events and stuff there. Go to WW only after the McDonald's reopens. Yeah, very, I know a couple people have said that in their things, that they have no shame of going to the McDonald's. I remember they did have a McDonald's by the Lego store down at Disney Springs. And I remember kind of late night, because in the olden days, they didn't really have too many restaurants like they do now at Disney Springs. So there are only a few places where you could actually go and eat. And I know one time I was there on property and went that, in fact, and went to that McDonald's at Disney Springs. And then whenever they decided that they weren't going to have McDonald's except keep the one that's over by the All Stars. In fact, the one originally by the All Stars used to have the characters of the McDonald's fries and the hamburger and stuff actually on top of their building. And then they changed it to a normal looking McDonald's. It wasn't as whimsical. And now they took it down completely, and I don't know what it's going to look like now, or how they're going to design it, or whatever. And I'm not sure why they remodeled. I guess because all the different McDonald's, because I know around here they all change and everything like that. And I had friends on the opening of Galaxy's Edge actually hung out at that McDonald's all half the night before they were allowed to go over to Hollywood Studios. So. But yeah, that. But yeah, and I've gone to the McDonald's at the Crossroads when we had stayed off property. We were at like Typhoon Lagoon, and then we had thought about eating there, but then we were getting kind of hot and tired, and thought, well, let's head back, and we just grabbed McDonald's on the way back to our condo, which was right outside of the Disney Springs area. So I don't have no shame. I know there's all those great places out there. But if some of those places are closed at that point and McDonald's is the only thing open, I end up at McDonald's every once in a while on different vacations. I try not to do that, but sometimes you just have to, whether it's picky kids or you want a late night snack or something. It's kind of something there. Our area don't have 24-hour McDonald's, or they do have late night McDonald's, but not 24 hours or anything like that. Yeah, in fact, I haven't eaten McDonald's in a while, but now you're making me hungry for it. I have no shame. I stay at the Surf's Ups, and yeah, it is only that. Yeah, if anything, I'll probably try and plan either. See how it goes. Looking at August, if not, then October, or just wait and go like the end of November into December for the Christmas stuff. But it'll be interesting to see, if they're even going to have the late night parties. I know they've been selling tickets for the Halloween parties and Christmas parties, but is that something that they're going to still have? Or maybe because they can sell limited tickets, that they would still have those going on. So, I mean, the whole world, not just Disney World, is going to be different. I mean, Universal's going to have that same issue, and so SeaWorld. And I mean, I live right by an amusement park that, they're going to have that same issue. They were supposed to open up May 2nd, and they haven't been able to even get into the park to get it prepared to even open in May. Maybe towards the end of May, in the middle of the summer, it may end up opening. Yes, Dennis, I agree with that too. That if I'm solo, McDonald's is fine, or wherever. So it's not anywhere, and I feel bad for buffet restaurants because I just wonder how they're going to handle the buffets. And I know we have some places that offer buffet brunches and stuff. How are they? There's not too many buffet type restaurants around where I live. There are places, but they're going to have to change probably how they do things for a while till this all settles down and stuff. So whether they have cast members at those buffets handing you the food or whatever. Yeah, it's been a while since I've had McDonald's, just because I'm not at work, and that usually was a place that I could go and grab something. Not that I'd go there all the time, because I usually mix it up, bring food or whatever, but that was probably the last time I've eaten McDonald's, is when I was actually at work. Yes, I'm looking forward to seeing what the Epic Universal will be like and everything. So, and we have eaten at the Golden Corral. It's not really a favorite, but when we were staying off property, and when you have picky kids, sometimes and and I know my sister's mother-in-law wanted to go there one time, so we did go there, and it worked out fine. And it's just something in a pinch. And when you're staying off property, at those hotels, and I've seen Steve show them, you could pick up all those different magazines that they have, and they have coupons for restaurants. Um, okay. Yeah, that's a good reason, Pam. Believe me, in fact, I'm now thinking I may go to McDonald's. I know my dad wanted the McDonald's fish the other day, and I'm like, no, we got to get this other place. But he'd rather just eat the McDonald's fish. So maybe that'll be something I'll go get today anyway, because I've been thinking about it as it is, and it is only drive through, and a lot of times they get busy. But yeah, we've gone to the Golden Corral. We've done there's a steak couple steak places that we've been to, the Miller's place. But yeah, look in those coupon books. They have all kinds of different deals on the restaurants there. Um, you know, Early on in the trips, Animal Kingdom wasn't open late, but we'd stay till it closed and then go somewhere off property since we were staying off property, or we'd cook at our place like pasta and sauce, or buy one of those chickens at Publix or Winn Dixie or wherever we're at. Yes, I always look at the app whenever I go to McDonald's to see what's the sale. I'm not cutting up McDonald's. I don't mind going there. I like their French fries. That's probably the only fast food restaurant French fries I kind of enjoy, even though they changed them a little bit. But that I'm not keen on the fries at Wendy's or Burger King as much as McDonald's. Um, and Arby's has the curly fries that are seasoned. Yes, Sonic. We have a Sonic near us. It's a little bit further. It takes me about 10 minutes to get there, 10, 15 minutes, depending on which one I go to. But I love their slush drinks there, Timothy. I love the slush drinks. But yeah, um, I know early on when they first introduced a dining plan type of thing, my first trip in 1994 to stay on property because I wasn't a cast member anymore. I went with my mom, my aunt, my sister-in-law, and myself went, and and that's when the Wilderness Lodge first opened that summer that year, and the All Stars opened, and I think Old Key West might have been about a year old, and trying to choose where we wanted to stay, and I wanted to always stay at the beach club or the yacht club, and it was like, and that's why I love a lot of the streams in YouTube with things that people show in the resorts and different resort reviews to find out, because in the days that went in 1994, there really wasn't much out there except the tour guides, and they're still out there, the tour guides and stuff, but there wasn't a lot of pictures and stuff. And I came across allears.net that Deb Wills has started, and now her partner kind of keeps it going, and some other people keep that going, but allears.net. And then I met others from that group in another Disney news group type of thing, and met them all at Disney World in December. They usually have an event in December, or kind of a meetup, and you kind of stay on your own, and then they say, hey, we're going to be at the Animal Kingdom at this day, and we're going to do this, or if you want to join us at Nomad's Lounge or something, you can do that. They put out a little schedule, but it's really cool. And I know it was hard to decide beach club or yacht clubs, but we chose the beach club. But the Wilderness Lodge, I really like that resort. And it was a kind of a tie, like, should we stay at the new Wilderness Lodge or the beach club? But what won me over for the beach club was the swimming pool, and we were going in the summer, so that was the hands down. We were going in August, right before, right as the kids were getting ready to go back to school and everything. And we actually had a plan that was called the Fun and More, or Food Fun and More, and it actually included your 3 meals. So you had You could get breakfast, lunch, and dinner at any counter service or sit down restaurant. Um, you had recreation in there, so we got to rent the boats, the water mice. They were fun. I actually got my mom out on one, and she enjoyed that. A couple times they didn't have enough water mice, so we'd take out a canopy boat and ride up the where the riverside was, Port Orleans Riverside and everything, and downtown Disney area, the Disney Springs. Um, we rode around on the Crescent Lake on the boats and stuff. So it was fun. Happy Easter, Sheena Hilton. Thank you for joining. But that, and we ate at incredible restaurants. Yes, that was the one thing we loved. We walked this is even before the boardwalk opened when we stayed there in 1994. Walked into Epcot. It was a quick boat ride over to Hollywood Studios. Sometimes we would drive over there just to get over there real quick. But we always took the bus to Magic Kingdom. Epcot we walked to, and then we would ride the monorail over to the Magic Kingdom. But we ate at Ariel's, which is no longer at the Beach Club, but that was the seafood restaurant. We had lobster there, a whole lobster. We actually booked a night at the Yachtman Steakhouse. That was delicious, but everything was included. Our meal. I mean, we walked out of probably the Yachtman Steakhouse with a $500 bill that was already paid for because we had the food, fun, and more package. And now, now they have the different dining plan packages, but this included everything. You could do miniature golf, you could do the boats. They had merchandise that you could pick out if you wanted that. I actually got the Lincoln Log set that they had out many years ago of the Wilderness Lodge Lincoln Log set. I have that somewhere. They had like these crystal Mickeys. I'll have to see where I have that. I don't know if I left it in a box or put it in my case, but we each got a crystal Mickey. So that they had a lot of different things. We like the Yachtman Steakhouse. I know there are some other places that, people can argue and say, oh, I had a terrible meal there. It could be hit or miss, or you did have it. Don't worry, Mike. I'm probably going to be getting off here soon, but thank you to let me know that you'll be right back. Hello, CM Entertainment. Who knew all these years that there were gators in those waters? We have to take the mini boats out to the Grand Flow. Happy I never fell into Seven Seas Lagoon. Yeah, that's true, because I knew that there would be alligators around, but I didn't know how many or how bad it may have been, and never really thought about it because I wonder if they were even out in that water while the boats were running and stuff like that. Because in the older day, now I don't know if there's a lot of boats out there now, those water mice, but back in the 90s when I would rent them, there would be people all over the place with those boats and stuff like that. Yeah, I've heard good and bad from people, but I've never had a bad steak there at the Yachtman Steakhouse. We would go there. In fact, we still go there when we can. The Yachtman Steakhouse, we like Ohana's. I've been to the California Grill. I would love to get a reservation for their Cali brunch, for the California Grill brunch. That looks delicious. I've heard Brandy and Dave talk about that. A few other people talk about the California Grill brunch. I like to try the Wave. I've seen good things on that. Like I said, we've been to Ariel's restaurant, which now is no longer. That's more meeting space, and I'm not sure which way they did the new the Beaches and Cream remodel. Whether they took out more of the arcade, which I'm kind of guessing. Yeah, and there was never any warnings about the gators. And then you think about how many times I've been to River Country back in the days when River Country was popular and stuff. That was, besides Wet and Wild, that was maybe one of the first water parks I'd gone to. I did get to go to Wet and Wild because one of my first trips we stayed on International Drive right by Wet and Wild. So we did take a day to go over there since we had like coupon offers and stuff. And I've been there when I lived down in Orlando as a cast member to Wet and Wild. And I've been to Typhoon Lagoon and, of course, River Country. And then whenever they built Blizzard Beach and decided to shut it down, Blizzard Beach is good. Thank you, CM Entertainment. I like this cap too. I kind of wish I would have picked my nephew one up also. And I'm not sure if they still sell this particular one or not because this was from the opening day of Galaxy's Edge. But I should have went and picked him up one because that was that. And even I had a cousin that asked me because they were blocked out of the Hollywood studios and I had already left Florida then. And I was like, I wish I didn't leave as early as I did for when the hurricane came. But I was hoping to get something this Sunday instead of having to leave Saturday evening because I would have went back to pick that up for them. But thank you. Oh, welcome back, Mike. But yeah, whoever thought all of that, and you never really thought about it. I remember one time we were out on that Lake Tahoe out in Kissimmee. A friend of mine had a boat and they were going in the water, and I said something about alligators. Like, aren't you afraid that an alligator could get you or whatever? But he said with the boat traffic, I don't know if they, I would assume that they would still be out there somewhere sitting at the bottom and everything. Hello, Rockin' Robin. Thank you for joining. But I'm going to go ahead and end my stream. Thank you for joining, Rockin' Robin. I'm sorry, I'm going to probably get ready to end my stream. Amy put Bull and Bear. Yes, I do have that on my bucket list of going to visit the Bull and the Bear. I did see that on Tim Trackers. I've seen a couple other people go to the Bull and Bear and talk about it. Yeah, the Seven Seas Lagoon is man-made, but the one over by Wilderness and the Bay Lake Tower, yeah, Bay Lake is a natural lake. They just connected them with a water bridge, yes. And that was one of the fun things when you were on the boats driving over across the water bridge. That was always a fun thing, driving those boats and riding all around and everything like that. That's what made me always wonder, even though I was at River Country and I was kind of reading and watching some videos on the history of that and wondered, like, how did they keep those alligators out of there and stuff? And you could see, like, on pictures that the water was different, and they did say that it was up higher than the actual Bay Lake itself. I don't know if it was a wall or whatever. You too, CM Entertainment. Have a great afternoon. But yes, I'm going to go ahead and end the stream. Have a good day, Timothy, and everyone else. I do thank everyone for joining. On your way out, I hope you hit that thumbs up button. It's much appreciated. It does help out the channel. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. Check out all the different people in the chat and check out them there, and they feature all different things also. And have a great day. Have a great rest of the week. And I will see you in the chats. And let the adventures begin, everyone. Have a great day, and I do thank you. You're welcome, Ruby Princess G. Thank you for joining. I do appreciate that. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.